Many Canadians were in Israel when the Hamas attack began, and that includes Shayli Liederman, former Breakfast television intern who is now living in Israel in Tel Aviv. And she joins us live this morning to describe her experience. Shayli, thank you so much for joining us. We are so glad that you are safe right now.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, I know that you've been moving around, but we'll start off where you were at the time on Saturday morning when these strikes began. Where were you, and how did you find out that Hamas was attacking?
I was actually in a northern city called Tzfat. I was there celebrating a very special Jewish holiday, one of our most happiest days of the year, actually. I work with teenagers who half were with me, half were still in Tel Aviv, and I woke up from a call from them that they had heard been woken up from a bunch of sirens in Tel Aviv. Thank God we didn't hear sirens ourselves that morning.
And then as the sirens went off, what happened next? Were you then looking for shelter? And was that group in Tel Aviv also out looking for shelter as the airstrikes began?
Often in the Middle East, each building is equipped with, or many buildings are equipped with, like bomb shelters or safe zones. So my teens who were in Tel Aviv, they were able to find shelter very quickly. When we did hear our first siren, it was on our way back to Tel Aviv. We were in a bus, actually. We didn't have a bomb shelter near us, and there was no safe place to stop, which would be proper or like regular protocol to do when hearing a siren on the road. We had to duck our heads and just wait till the siren ended. And then we were able, in between two sirens, to actually get back to our building and find a safe zone, like in between two sirens, thank God.
What was that like
So we
for
were all-
you, dealing with that, Shayli, and not knowing really what was going to happen next as you sat in a bus and hear these sirens going off?
It's really hard. It's really hard to be here. I'm also taking care of 60 kids at a time who are also from America and from the United Kingdom. We're all here, we're all trying to support each other. But at the same time, we're constantly looking over our shoulder, trying to be alert. We're glued to our phones, trying to keep up to date with what's going on here, with what's going on with our families at home, with what's going on with our families that are here and on the front lines. And at the same time, like a lot of myself and my kids that I'm taking care of, they have families in America who are in Canada who are facing the unapologetic anti-Semitism that's coming on at home. So we are just experiencing the darkest of times here from every angle, and every piece of news. You know, it feels like a more horrific thing is coming towards us, and we're just all trying to do our best to cope and be in survival mode and live through this human rights crisis.
And we've been showing some of the images that you sent us. A friend of yours in Tel Aviv as well, in a neighborhood in Tel Aviv, showing some of the damage and the destruction that happened shortly after Saturday's attack. I'm sure that you have been witness to a lot of that damage as you've been moving around. Tell us about your journey since then, because you and your group of students that you're watching, you're trying to keep safe as well, and you're moving around to do so.
Yes, we also recognize we're like very lucky to be a part of a program that we're doing everything we can to just keep our kids safe. We have been able to go quite south towards Eilat and to a kibbutz, which is a shared living community, who has offered their space to us and opened their doors to us, along with other many families who are along the bordering towns of Gaza who have had to escape from their homes. We were able to get here yesterday morning. It was a stressful bus ride, but thank God that we are here safely, and we're doing everything we can and praying for our friends and our family that are on the front lines right now.
So what's next for you? You have been able to seek refuge in this kibbutz, and I'm sure you're hearing of, as you said, many more areas and neighborhoods that are welcoming those who are just trying to get to safety. What happens next for you and your group?
Honestly, Tammie, we don't know. This is a situation that we've never seen before. I'm sorry. It's something we don't know what's happening next. We don't know what's happening now. We're living it moment by moment. We're in survival mode here. We're waiting for that text from our friend that they're okay. So we're just spending every second that we can, doing whatever we can to get into the next second forward and doing what we can to help those that are in instant emergency right now.
Shayli, we wish you nothing but the best as you try to navigate such a tough time. We are glad that you were safe. We hope that you stay safe and move as you will in order to do so. But we are praying for you and hoping that you can get out as soon as possible. Shayli Liederman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tammie.